Plants vs Zombies wasn't exactly a game we were expecting to be turned into a third-person shooter, and Garden Warfare wasn't exactly a game we were expecting to enjoy very much. It's got exactly the formula that we would imagine we were going to end up hating. But actually, surprisingly, Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare is a really fun third-person shooter, and really worth checking out.
Yeah, this is one of those sort of crazy things. We obviously saw it announced back at E3, and we just never really expected it to amount to much, to be honest. But it turns out it's a really solid, almost arena shooter with obviously Plants vs Zombies instead of your typical macho sort of Modern Warfare grunts. And you know what? It's refreshing enough to keep us entertained for a couple of weeks. We've been having a blast on it, and you know, what it lacks in sort of depth or even fantastic level design, it does just make up for in sheer idiocy, basically. You know, like, you're running around as a zombie, and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to win this, and then suddenly out of nowhere, you're getting absolutely slammed by a sunflower, and that's not something you ever expected to happen on your Xbox One, like, ever.
If you played the multiplayer modes in Mass Effect 3, it's basically very similar kind of systems to that. It does feel like they've used that as a template to build on. The only sort of shame of it really is that, given that there are plants and zombies and there's all these different classes to play as, the class system and the mechanics of that don't really play a huge role. The maps are so tight that really it's just kind of a keep move shoot kind of game. So it doesn't really have the depth of a sort of the stronger third-person shooters out there. But the moment-to-moment gameplay is just so anarchic and so fun that that's not always a big problem. You can, as long as you can just throw yourself into it and enjoy it for what it is, it's a really, really cool little game.
Yeah, I mean, you touched on it there with the sort of Mass Effect multiplayer types, and, you know, so we are looking at real simple sort of, you've got, obviously, your fairly standard team deathmatch. You've also got what is essentially a horde mode, where you and, you know, 3 other plants or zombies will face off against sort of waves of enemies and gain points. It's all very fun, but the limited maps and sort of scope of the modes here leads us to believe there's probably going to be quite a healthy support of DLC down the line to support this, which it's probably going to need if it wants to, you know, succeed into the future. And, you know, this is one of those games then his Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare is something that will give you more than enough fun and entertainment to justify the price of entry, even if it doesn't, you know, keep you playing well into the later half of 2014.
So a great deal better than we expected, but not by any means perfect. What have you given it?
We've given it a 7 out of 10.